a lot of Mica's music has an incredible sense of otherness about it. Its use of processing and twisting and distorting and detuning. As soon as we sat down with her, it was very obvious that this was the way to go.
A few things that sort of helped decide on instrumentation and stuff like that was that John really early on said that he'd love it to be performed live. So I was sort of thinking, oh, I'll be writing a score that would be notated and written out, and I played the viola, and that's the best way for me to sort of write music like that. So I use a keyboard, synthesized strings and viola, and I just wrote a lot of different bits of music, just improvised a lot, and tried to come up with fairly long form pieces of music.
There are absolutely things that we put in the music that are noises. There are chords. Mica and me refer to something as the brown chord, which is sound, and it's operating as a sonic function in the absence of kind of formal human music.
I don't know if John or Pete would agree with it, but I sort of have I sort of see the music and very simply representing different things in the film very clearly. I mean, it is quite traditional in that it's thematic, anyway, which I think is clear. But then, I mean, each sort of aspect of the music represents a different thing in the film, or a different kind of force in the film. That melody that comes in throughout, that's kind of her seductive tool, that's kind of fake. That's not coming as much from her in how John sort of suggested that it should be coming from her gut or whatever. It's sort of more something that she's putting on, like her makeup, like her outfit. It's kind of a fake luring in tool. So there's that, which sort of starts to work back on her later on in the film. And then, so the symbols, for instance, represent the landscape, just the planet and nature, and nature and undefined forces that are sort of around. It's kind of that's what that's doing, I reckon. And then that's the very fidgety music played, fast moving music, tremolos on the strings is the alien pressure. It's like the alien, undeniable life force that we can't understand, but that is pressurizing her and is present all the time. And then you've got this human feeling of love, which is a sort of triad, which is developed into a theme and all of this and that. And then the drums is sort of her. That's it. The drums is her kind of work, her hunger. That fake MIDI strings aspect and the real strings in there. That combination is that sort of aesthetic is, I think, is important because of her sort of slightly dislocated experience. But then, I mean, and actually, it's much more natural when she's working. It's more acoustic instruments, and then as she gets towards love, it's much more synthesized. I think that's because it's more impossible. I like the idea of a string, synthesized strings, because it can go on forever, and there's no human having to change their bow. It's just there for us until you turn it off.
We were greedy. We wanted the best of everything. So there would be these fantastic recording sessions with hand-picked musicians, and we would figure out the process of getting the results. Same with the sound of the drums and the rhythms. There would be a combination of just the simple stuff coming from a laptop, but then we'd work that, and we'd get live players in, and we would sit until the end result wasn't compromised. Even though if it sounds better, it's easy to make something sound better, but it's also easy to lose a lot of quality in that process.
It's quite different. It's quite different to how it started out. Yeah, it was full of stuff at first, it got really stripped back, but if I'd gone in there and sort of come up with where it sort of ended up, I don't think everyone would have been like, no.